Nice.
You ready? Yes, no?
Welcome, everybody, to the Smite Development League. This is Dinosaur joined by Sam Paruba. Sam
Hey.
Kober. Yeah, what's up, Sam?
I'm doing good. Sorry, we had a little bit of a weird start.
Yeah, well, I'm back from my Corona break, my Corona vacation, if you will.
You know what?
But,
I preferred Corona vacation before like 2020. That's when you go down to like the beach.
Right.
Maybe you go to Mexico, you drink a bunch of Coronas on the beach. Like that's
Absolutely,
a good Corona vacation.
That does sound way better than what I had. That's for sure.
Yeah, I long for the fucking day when you can refer to Corona and it'll just be a beer again. That's all I want. I want it to be a beer again.
Yeah, I agree 100%, even though I do not like the brand of beer. It's okay.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I agree. But it's like, it's one of those things when you go out on the beach, you have like a lime slice.
Yeah.
You gotta have a lime slice in the neck of the bottle.
Yeah.
Very key. But it's a light, refreshing beer.
Yeah, it's one of those easy drinkers.
I'm actually sipping on a Shinerbach Limited Candied Pecan beer.
Ooh. See, now that's more my style.
Yeah. It's locally brewed, and it has roasted praline pecans, and it's a robust porter with vanilla, caramel, and brown sugar notes.
Speaking of a robust porter, Cthulhu's band here.
I was wondering what the transition was going to be. Cthulhu, yes, he is banned, and set is banned. So it looks like the first few sets of bans really going towards maybe target bans, looking at Hera and AMC, not very meta. Raven, not super meta. Hell being banned out.
I can't imagine why. They just literally play with hell in their name. Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think those are definitely target bans. I think for the most part, we got meta bans here coming out.
So Ares is not going to be playing Ares, you mean? And Zombie Shot is not going to be playing like Opwash?
I mean, you never know, right? You never know. I think it's something that's worth noting is that we do see a Ravana ban here, which is not a meta ban, right? I mean, Ravana is meta, but it's not a meta ban. And I think that might be alluding to a possible Poseidon pick or something like that, where they don't want to have to deal with his ability to get out of an ultimate that easily.
Or how about a Persephone ultimate? Because they first picked Persephone.
You could backflip out of that, can't you?
You can backflip out of that. It's interesting to see Persephone. I think she's obviously a very strong character in a well-piloted player. But on the other side, you see Ra, and I would venture to say that Ra is probably the best mage in the game, and you don't really have to be that talented to be able to run a Ra to a decent level of effect. The Vamana is an interesting first pick here for the side of Red. They are... So it would... Maybe they're worried they don't want it to be picked against the Ra. I mean, Vamana's phenomenal into Ra. Not as good as he used to be, since Ra now does have some slow immunity, but Vamana usually can keep up in his ultimate, and Ra really can't do anything. Tsukiyomi being picked up on the other side, so a lot of couple of pretty meta picks, and then you got the Odin. Then you got the Odin locked in, which is different, but Odin is good into Ra. Vamana, of course, can just walk through the Odin ult if he ults, but Erlang Shen does get locked down by Odin as well, so looks like they're not necessarily...
That Odin pick makes me very uneasy with that Persephone, because there is a weird interaction with Persephone's ult and like Odin's cage where it just doesn't work. It's a very weird glitch. I don't know if you've noticed this about Smite, but few bugs in the game.
The thing is, Odin cage counts as a wall. Persephone ult, if it hits a wall, whether it be a real wall or a player-made wall, will act as if it hit any other wall. Get 3 ticks on the newly nerfed basic attack requirement for getting rid of the ultimate, and of course not do the level of damage and basically go out from that area that it hit. We see Cupid, Hu Yi, some ADC bans coming in. Overall, so far, I've really been liking the bans coming out of the order side here, and they're. But it just really goes to, we have to see how they pilot these picks. As the Izanami being locked in, not the greatest hunter, but she can get out of Odin Cage, so that's good. And otherwise, she doesn't have CC immunity, which means Persephone ult is going to be effective, Jingtian ult is going to be effective, Artemis ult is going to be effective, and of course Artemis can just CC immune Izanami ult. We go with the Hebo last pick, probably in the jungle role, so I'm assuming this is going to be an Erlang Shen support, Vaman solo, Ra mid, Hebo jungle.
Yeah, that's according to the players on the board, that is exactly what is happening here. I think one interesting thing to know about that Izanami pick is that Persephone's ult you can get rid of by hitting it, as you know. It takes 5 hits if it's a direct hit, 3 if it's indirect. So in Izanami, I wonder if that double procs with her autos, and that might be one reason to look for Izanami, but I just feel like there are better hunters to be playing in the current meta. It's the same thing with Artemis. I love Artemis to death. She's one of the most fun hunters to play, but just her early game clear is really bad, and she's going to have a really tough time against this Izanami.
You know what's not super fun as Artemis? Being run down by a Vamana. Because you can't do anything about it.
If you blind blink, you can blink out of the way.
Not once he's engaged on you, Vamana.
That's true.
And most likely, I mean, I would like to see a Blink Thorns on this Vamana. Hopefully we'll not go with the teleport. But that means that as a Vamana, you want to see a carry, a backliner that just doesn't have an escape. Persephone has a leap that can actually get her over walls. She can run away pretty safely from Vamana.
Yep.
Tsukiyomi, not so much, but usually Vamana and Tsukiyomi will be opposite ends of the fight if things go properly. But Artemis has nothing. She will just 100% be run down by Vamana, and it's really going to be on Maloney's to get and identify where this Artemis is and just take her out of every single fight. The problem is, yes, if she gets her Tusky out, Tusky will ping-pong potentially and cause a lot of disruption. Well, tell me about these starts. What do you think so far about what we start seeing on some of these starts? Anything stand out to you?
I mean, it's all fairly standard. The one thing that stands out is you have Artemis, who has opted for 2 mana potions. I don't think that Artemis really requires the amount of... Oh, wow, a nice hit through the wall there, though. But I don't think she requires the amount of, like, mana that you get. You get away with the mixed potion, right? So it's an interesting pickup for me. But other than that, I think everything's pretty standard. One thing to note is that is going to be a Jingtian solo, and he opted for mixed potion, so maybe looking to double stack up on the healing from the mixed potions as well as the chalice of HP.
Yeah, Odin's support had a little bit of a surge when he got the rework. He's never been particularly bad, but he's never really been particularly good either. And Odin here choosing to go his jump, it looked like.
A little weird.
Good for early clear, but not good for anything else. I mean, I guess he's trying to get a little bit of assistance for Artemis to be able to clear, but he's not going to be able to jump into these minions. He's going to take so much poke.
Yeah.
Now this is... Yeah, this is exactly what you expect to see after Odin jumps in. He just loses half his health bar from just simple poke from the side of VHS. So I'm gonna refer to Fenyx as Betamax. No, sorry. On the other side, Jingtian actually is not a bad play into Vamana, because Vamana, even though he's a warrior, he has a really weak early game. So that means that you can get away with stuff that doesn't really have a lot of early clear and a lot of early pressure, because the mana also doesn't have a lot of early clear pressure.
Yeah. I think one thing that's interesting to note here, though, is that Odin is knockup immune while he has his 3 out, and so, you know, Erlang Shen does have a knockup with his dash. Possibly you can either go into the Falcon form there or the Turtle form. The Turtle form does knock up, so he'll see a little bit of success with that, but I mean, I think that this is going to be a really difficult duo lane to pull off, at least early game.
Yeah, I would like to see this Erlang really be more aggressive. He does have fewer pops. He wants that health start, which means that he's not as effective into chasing people down. You know, it was a start that some supports were going early on, but it's really fallen out of favor because it doesn't provide you the mobility. But now we see a little gank from Tsukiyomi just neutralizes all that aggression, and the dual lane of VHS is hunky dory.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of help you're going to need to get through the laning phase with an Artemis and an Odin. I'm not too surprised to see Tsukiyomi pay a little extra attention to that lane.
As Hebo, I mean, one of the things, Hebo early game is not going to be doing much, so he's just looking to farm. He's going to be going to do more of the back for boots too. Tsukiyomi's spending a lot of time here. I wonder, Hebo is still going his regular route. I guess they haven't communicated, or Hebo doesn't feel comfortable enough to go for an invade onto Speed. As we do see first blood coming in, that damage to Tsukiyomi just staying there, and the Odin damage, Izanami not respecting it, does fall for first blood.
Yeah, I mean, the persistence ends up paying off for Tsukiyomi there in the end, but he spent so much time in this lane, he's got to be dropping farm. And look, Hebo is actually invading the blue buff as we speak, and that's just an opportunity provided by Tsukiyomi spending way too much time in that duo lane.
Yeah, Hebo is level 5 now, as opposed to Tsukiyomi level 4. Doesn't have his full boots finished. I would like to see him, yes, it's nice to get the blue buff invade, but I would have liked to see him just go for the speed buff there, but Hebo going in does catch out Persephone. If you return the kill, Persephone just like wastes her ult after she dies.
Yeah, you better off just canceling at that point, I think.
Yeah, and now Tsukiyomi's super low already, out of mana, and I think he dies here as well. It's just a poor choice of pathing and rotation. Tsukiyomi spending a lot of time there, but go ahead.
I mean, now Hebo and Ra are very, very low, but guess what? Your jungle's dead, so he's not going to be able to take advantage of it. And it's just one of those situations where instead of attacking together, you kind of fall in line, you do the conveyor belt thing, right? You enter lane one at a time, and they just kind of blast you down. It's something that I think Fenyx is going to probably be looking to correct as they play through this game, but they are far from out of it.
Absolutely, but not a great spot to be in. Despite getting the first blood, they are almost a K down in gold. As Hebo, a god that wants to get to late game, wants to farm and get those items online, has the highest gold per minute. He's been doing the most effective farming because Tsukiyomi just stayed in left lane for so long to try to get that kill.
Yeah, this is
Go ahead.
Yeah, this is a universal problem. I mean, you're looking across the board. It's VHS with gold per minute leads, and the rest falling behind. So it's not a situation where you just have one player who is really dominating. And so these are the kind of things that can lead to snowballs happening.
And you don't want that on a Hebo. You do see Persephone, kind of not using her plants that effectively. She's using the third level of her plant, which kind of runs around trying to chase Ra, but Ra just dukes it instead of being able to like use her second level to clear the wave, which means she actually ends up taking way more focus than Ra does. That puts her in a bad spot in mid as Hebo rotates in and gets a kill on her.
Very nice kill by Dark Coast there in the mid lane. Yeah, I think the key with Persephone is you want to have like this nice balance of her third stage and her second stage. Third stage kind of, distract and keep Ra away so that your second stage can out-clear him, and then now he's got pressure for the minions. And that's sort of the idea with that, but, if you're not comfortable maybe managing that, sometimes you see the 3 used a little bit more, and that makes clearing waves very difficult because they do prioritize players over farm or minions.
Yeah, and I think that it's really managing those plants that separates the Persephone that has we'd say a little bit of an alt trade out going in. Izanami falling for the second time. The Phantom popped by the Erlang Shen, required to get out of that cage, which saved his life. But Izanami does fall there. Chose to go the beads. Smart move generally against the Artemis, but Artemis already stacking her Devos. As Izanami going full Ninja Tabby. Artemis starting with 13 stacks on her Devos and not even finished for Izanami. I would rather see Izanami just go for a Blood Forge at this point. Don't bother with stacking because you're already going to be so far behind. You're not going to be able to sit and stack in that lane against an Artemis that's just going to be able to bully you, because that's just giving all this time for your opponent to be ahead. As a solo kill, looks like we kind of missed on the solo lane side. A little bit of help from all the XP. As a kill on the Hebo, now 4-0-1. So a couple interesting notes. The Berserker Shield first item before boots on Vamana against a magical soul laner. And not being able to clear effectively. So Vamana dies. He's going to continue to be behind until he can get those boots online. It's going to be a rough lane.
Yeah, I think the Berserker Shield is not the item I would have personally gone for. I mean, I get that maybe you want to eventually fit that in, but it's not even like, it's not an item that I feel like even needs to be rushed early. In fact, I think like you need to get it a little bit more like the mid areas where you're looking for that Berserker Shield typically. I think like an Ant Style or Ant Chile or however you want to say it, or a Runic Shield might have been a better path to go.
Yeah, you'd probably want a Shogun's there. Attack speed. But
there you go, yeah.
So many people on the side of Fenyx, on both sides, honestly, not getting their boots, just not valuing the mobility that boots bring. Now, this is Odin ult, and Tsukami's here, but Tsukami does commit an ultimate. I think he dies to it if they cut it around well. But Hamo has to be very careful since there is the 3-man versus 2 in there. But what I was saying is that these lack of boots means that you don't have. So Erlang Shen still with boot 1. He's going to be like not an effective character at all. The Vamana without boots, not an effective character at all.
Yeah, really weird too to see a support rush Thebes over boots. Like even if you're going with that tier 1, what is it, Emerald start, you usually want to get those boots online first, and that's just so that you can have a little bit of chase down because you already have the damage and the sustain that you need early on in the game. But maybe Catch is a little concerned about being able to stack that Thebes, as it can get tricky if you're looking to hyper rotate a lot throughout the game.
But if you are looking to rotate a lot throughout the game, then you want boots.
Yeah, I know.
Ninja Tabby. Sorry, it looked like he was going to go Ninja Tabby and then chooses to sell it. Okay, there you go. As this Hobwa, 5-0-2, already finished Doom Orb, he is 3 levels ahead of the Tsukiyomi, who also did not get boot. Terrible idea as a jungler where your whole job is to be able to rotate to get farm. You're not sitting in a lane. Now Artemis does use her Tusky and her trap there. She's out of mana, but Hebo I don't think has without all he doesn't have to. Now Izanami diving under the tower.
Yeah,
I don't why?
Bit aggressive from the Izanami there now. But looks like Persephone
onto Hebo.
Hey, the kill there. Yeah, I wouldn't have dove in as Izanami, but also if you've ever seen me, I live under towers, so you know.
Izanami did choose to go Devourer's Gauntlets, had a TKO on Artemis, but instead of sitting back and trying to catch back on farm, he just decides to give her life up and int for a kill. She does have the level lead, but I mean the biggest thing there is the shutdown on the Hebo. That gives Persephone a lot of a lot of benefit trying to catch back up to this extreme level deficit that the side of VHS has over Fenyx. 3 levels in the jungle, 2 levels in mid, 1 level in ADC. So what I want to see is, all right, Tebow just continuing to do work, catches out the Tian as well. But now maybe they would think for gold, but not quite, since even though Hebo did catch out Xingtian, they don't have they're looking for a gank onto Izanami. Izanami doesn't recognize what's going on. It's in a bad position, but able to dash out. So not really much ventured or gained. VHS still holding a hefty lead, 2K, and a very significant experience lead. And I'm glad that Stuff Extreme did not get deterred by that kill. He's just continuing to press the gas. Something that you can't normally do is a little miss from the stun on Odin, but even if he did hit it, there was nothing that he was going to be able to do with that.
Yeah, I don't think there's much to gain from that stun. Just try to maybe spook him away from the mid laner. And
as another coming on the side of duo lane, Artemis with her ult, she used it, and Izanami with no beads and no CC immunity is always a sitting duck if Artemis has her ult. Now, however, despite that early death, because of the Hebo rotations, Vamana has gotten pressure in this lane. Both of them hit level 12 about at the same time. It was noted that Ankh picked up from the Xingtian, which is hard, but we own it all here. Hebo also aggressively, despite the Phantom being there from the Erlang Shen, so pretty poor communication on the side of VHS. Maybe Erlang didn't tell Hebo that he had the Phantom up. Hebo ulting in to pretty much full health targets, not going to get a kill from that. And, this is where most of your lead is on the Tebow. This is the character that you don't want to have get killed. So this does provide a little bit of a path back for Fenyx, but it's going to be a long path. 3K down at 13 minutes is never where you want to be. But let's see how Fenyx do, if they can take any advantage of these situations. Izanami split pushing. Our spectator Rose, who's joining us today, is a big fan. So Izanami does get the 2-1 power. She dashes into purple buff. Odin does not realize, and so they're not able to punish her. And she just kind of gets out scot-free.
Yeah, just running back through that Gold Fury pit there, finding an easy way out, but he was going to blink in here on a Persephone.
Persephone, I think, tried to jump over the wall, but too thick to jump over, so she just jumped into nothing. And now she's... So Dino, has this first pick Persephone been getting the value that you want to see out of a first pick?
I think right now, no. But I think late game that ultimate can actually end up paying up pretty big for them. I just don't know if maybe
Izanami, I don't know what she's doing. Not on the same page as her team. Her team's doing the Gold Fury. Izanami's up here, acting like a solo laner, trying to zone the Artemis, where she should be a backliner. Ends up dying and making a really poor fight for her team, who had a good call, but just I don't know if starter 1995 is not on the same page. I do like the synergy though with the VHS in 1995. That was the time for VHS, but big team fight. Despite the inting by Izanami, the rest of Fenyx kind of just in shambles, as now they just go back to the Gold Fury that they were almost about to finish in the first place.
Look, I think one thing we can safely say about Starter is that he is a very aggressive player, and unfortunately gets picked out there in that fight, but really actually bought his team a whole lot, and they ended up getting not only Gold Fury, but a couple extra kills. And that ended up working out pretty well for VHS there.
Yeah, I mean, that gold lead that VHS has, 5K now after the Gold Fury, but 3K before that, is that, yes, you do want to fight, but you want to take that fight because you're always favored in it. With just like the work that Hebo 10, 2, and 3 has been doing, 5 levels ahead of the enemy jungler, who again did not go boost, so he's going to be behind. Now Izanami not having to use her beads actually. She just waited out this Tusky stun duration and dashed away. But now she's maybe caught out, but Artemis is just such a low mobility character, she's not going to be able to chase.
Yeah, in comparison to Izanami, I think that's spot on. And I think that was a nice little escape from Izanami there. She got caught out. She probably should have disengaged a little bit earlier, but at the end of the day, you get away. It's all okay. You know what I say?
I like what you say. Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see as the fight progresses. Now another big team fight. Izanami gets the ult onto Odin, and Tsukiyomi is well falling. So again, Fenyx kind of in shambles. VHS just running down, and now this Jinkan just turning in that conveyor belt. Maybe able to get out, but this 2-2 will not be so lucky unless they just decide to go for kills. Raw way off the mark, as they do dive for the Jinkan kill. Now they don't have a wave pushing, and let's see what they decide to do. Vamana is split pushing on the other side. We'll get a tier 2 on right, but now it looks like they're just grouping for the T2. Hebo is gonna do his auto attacks, hit for like 30 a hit. That's gonna be phenomenal. But we have both teams going down, and that makes the gold lead up to 11K at 18 minutes. This is going to be VHS's game to lose. I have seen some pretty poor positioning from the side of Izanami, but she's been getting away with it just because of the lead that her team has. And so it's just if Fenyx can come back, what do you think they have to do?
Well, I think number one is they have to find starter as a free pick, right? They have to be able to get started, whether you're using, the Jingqian ultimate or whatever, to maybe get a single pluck, throw him back, and just blow him up. I think that might be a way in there, and then be smart enough to disengage from that fight, right? So you got your pick, just back it up, let your stuff recover. If they want to re-engage then after that as a 4v5, that is on them, and you guys will have free win. I think that will help them. Of course, you are so far behind in levels and stuff. It's just very difficult to fight right now.
Yomi getting caught out, uses his Aegis, still doesn't matter. Hebo does ult for the confirm, and now VHS, despite being 11, almost 12K ahead, they get the Pyromancer, still not feeling comfortable enough, I guess, to go for Fire Giant, instead choosing to chase the kills. Izanami off the mark, and they're big Persephone gives the time for disengage, but then Odin really in the middle of nowhere, he's gonna cage to try to keep his team away, but he's gonna get caught out. Persephone then just takes incident from them and ends up dying, which would have been a good disengage from Fenyx. Again, just kind of tossed aside as these players not sure what they're doing. He's ulting under T1 TT tower. He's going to get out just being tanky, but the rest of his team is dead, and this should be a pretty easy Fenyx siege for the side of VHS if they do decide to do that. However, it looks like from Izanami's pathing that they may be going for Fire Giant instead. The question is, who is going to step up to this level 17 Izanami? Your highest level is 15 on the other side. Jintian can't do anything against it. His second item is a material staff. He's got one physical tank item, but he's not going to be able to do anything, especially now that Izanami is going crit with Fail Not. Fire Giant, 20 minutes down for free. Go ahead.
I think right there you know that the VHS is going to go for Fire Giant, right? And you know that you can't contest it. So at that point, what you want to do is you want to make your way to the enemy jungle, take whatever you can possibly get that's safe. So probably anything on the left side. I would not try to go for their speed buff or the blue buff, but take the red buff, take the purple buff, take whatever else you can get, oracles, backends, whatever, right? Take that, and at least then you don't lose as much, right? You don't let the lead get that much more extended. You're catching up on levels now. and you might be able to find a way back in the game. The problem is it's very, very difficult when you're this far behind to be able to make something happen, right? At this point, you're looking at like just getting a very, very good Fenyx defense, and that's something that Fenyx needs to maybe be looking to set up at this point.
They will be playing on their namesake, as they were lucky that maybe VHS, thinking that the Team Fenyx was going to be there in addition to the regular Fenyx. They did not go the Fenyx after that team fight initially. They probably could have gotten pretty safely, but now it's a pretty hefty team. The Mon, however, still pushing the left wave, gonna try to cast that up. Already Persephone ult being used. Jingtian diving deep. He is going to get collapsed on, gets brought down really low. Shell use. Jingtian ult. Jingtian does barely make it out. A lot of damage onto the front line, however, of Team VHS. As now, this is a successful Fenyx defense from Fenyx. Kamana not there now. He finally glints in. Tries to do something, but he's alone. Is he going to be able to clean this up? He does get Zomchop for 20, and he is chasing down the Artemis. Remember, we talked about how that takedown potential was, but he is able to Aegis and get away. Eventually, the turnaround does kill Maloney's, and this Fenyx still stays up despite all of that. Habwa is alone here. He's trying to take the 1v1 versus Jingtian. This is a very dangerous spot for him because even though he has Fire Giant regen, you have no frontline. It's just two mages, and if Fenyx recognize that, I think they can go on these guys. Their carry is about to come up. Jingtian does take a lot of damage. A little bit of tank switching going on from Odin and Jing. Habwa blinks in, trying to get another kill, but I think he does get the kill onto Artemis, and not going to be punished for it as we're missing that action up on the left side. Habwa's in a terrible spot. He's going to die, and now that means you have nobody left with Fire Giant except for your Ra, and you still didn't get a Fenyx.
Yeah, that was an extremely poor play by VHS there. I think you're looking. Oh, hey, we traded our jungle for their carry. It's a 1-for-1 trade, but
for the level 16 carry.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's Habwa is level 20, and so now you've given Fenyx just a foot in the door, and I mean, you look, the level deficit is just cut by so much. And Tsukiyomi a little out of position here. They should be able to take this 2-on-1, you would think.
No, Tsukiyomi's problem dead here. You can't do one thing, but actually Izanami decides to fall back. I think she probably could have 1v2 there, especially if she had help coming from a Ra, but she decides to back up. That's fine. It's a safe call.
Yeah.
It's you see VHS, yes, they can afford to mess up a bunch of times. They have a 13k lead at 25 minutes. They can afford to lose probably 3 team fights and still be in an okay spot. That was number 1 of 3, and they have like maybe 2 more kind of lifelines left before it gets to a point where Fenyx can actually go toe-to-toe with them. And VHS just not respecting the game objective and instead just going for kills, thinking it's a different game mode. It's not Arena, boys. But now, like you said, no Fire Giant on anybody. Fire Giant's going to be spawning. Yes, there's waves pushing, but that means that you have pretty safe farm on the side of Fenyx. As long as no one gets caught out and you just defend. I mean, as now, without Fire Giant, VHS is looking to try to siege. Habwa Bead's already down. Now that's caught out. Izanami off the mark. Big Ra ult, but only catches Odin. So this is still a good fight. And already Phantom down for the side of VHS, not upgraded. So now they're just chasing. This is a little scary, though. Despite not having fire and being 4v5, they do still have a huge level and gold deficit. Bauman going in the back, killing Artemis, like we talked about, without relics. Now, this was a mistake from Fenyx that kind of counter bait. They got baited into this team fight. A lot of relics being used, and as we start seeing Fenyx just falling apart, the deicide is there, and this is how you lose a successful team fight that you were on the verge of winning, and most likely lose this game. It would be very surprising Fenyx can recover from this.
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, that's a little weird. But I was thinking going into that fight, right? I was like, as long as they still buy their Fenyx, they'll be okay.
Why is it not ending? There's literally 0 people up.
Yeah, I don't. Maybe they feel like they have too low health wise. I mean, Cat's a little low, but
okay, I
feel like
number 2 by VHS. I mean,
yeah.
it doesn't really count as a full screw up because, of course, you decided Fenyx. That means that's all that time that Fenyx is not farming, not being able to catch up. But if on the very, very low chance that VHS loses this game, that will be a call that they look back and like, what were you thinking? You have a guaranteed end.
Yeah.
And okay, maybe they're trying to farm some kills or something. Either way, not a great look from VHS.
Yeah, it's possibly just inexperience, right? Not being in that situation enough to recognize that this is an end opportunity. Instead, they opt to get the left Fenyx and the middle Fenyx, which are the 2 most important to take. Probably regroup and try to get that fire giant. But I mean, that to me, that just seemed like an easy win right there. And yeah, maybe just a little inexperience creeping up on them. I mean, we are talking about
as we see those
bronze and gold players, so
those level deficits have gone down. Easy, like you can only hit level 20. Persephone's level 19, Artemis level 19, Jintian level 19, Tsukiyomi level 18. They're catching up, and so yes, you have. Like I said, you could afford like 3 screw ups. That was like 1.5 of them. So that's half your screw ups already done for the side of Team VHS. Fenyx has not capitalized on all these mistakes that VHS has made. But I mean, you only got like 1 or 2 more left in the tank as Team VHS. So let's see if they're able to clean this up and finish this game, or else it'll be a much closer game than they would have thought.
This should be fairly simple and straightforward for VHS. I mean, you do have 2 full waves of fire minions now collapsing onto that Titan, and that's going to allow them to get a little pressure here in this team fight. So I'm just not only 1, but 2 members of Fenyx not rotating, and that might be too many.
Yeah, I don't know what Fenyx is doing here. Like they see 5 people here at this Fenyx, and they don't care enough about their own Fenyx to defend. And that's a 3 for nothing, 4 for nothing, and now finally VHS goes for the end call. Again, kind of not able to capitalize on the multiple throws that VHS gave you. But VHS finally do, maybe 10 minutes too late, end up winning this game.
Yeah, I think that's just one of those damn if you do, damn if you don't sort of situations. I mean, you got 2 fire minion waves coming up, so somebody's got to go and clear them, but you need all 5 people there because you have 5 of the enemy team, with fire giant buff, just they're going to collapse on there. I think that's just it's just not a winnable situation. They might have been able to play it a little bit better, but ultimately I think that early game lead just creeps up and they end up paying the price for it in the end.
I don't know if these teams go back and kind of maybe talk to their coach and have a little in-between session. There's so many things to clean up there, from builds like, guys, boots are good. You should get them. Don't get Berserker Shield first item. Don't get Soul Eater first item. Don't get Gauntlet of Thieves first item. Like, yes, you guys won, but it was just kind of poor play on both sides. Congratulations for Game 1 winners to VHS, as we will have to see if they can get the clean sweep over Betamax and watch the history of 1995 repeat itself, or if Sony will make a comeback and Welcome to Game 2 of VHS versus Fenyx. Game 1, we saw a strong performance from VHS. Despite losing first blood in the duo side, they had a very strong performance from their jungler on the Habwa, and were able to get such a massive lead, winning most of the team fights. Despite a number of errors during the game, they ended up getting the win in about 28 minutes, as we do hop on to Game 2 to see if VHS can clinch the 2-0 and end the format wars, or if the Team Fenyx can rise from the ashes. I am joined, as usual, by Dino Sir, and talk to me about some of these bans.
Yeah, we got some interesting bans, right? Pretty much the same coming out from the fine folks here. Fenyx. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. The Habwa respect ban, pretty much the same. Odin respect ban. Apparently, maybe they didn't like it. Odin caged all that much from game 1. So we'll see where they go now for picks and bans. I would expect VHS to be looking for something roughly the same. That seemed to be working out fairly well for them. I don't know how you replace the Habwa on your team, but
I don't think the Habwa was essential at any point. I mean, they had, but he did very well, but they had plenty of damage sources. They had Ra doing tons of damage, Izanami doing tons of damage. So pretty much any jungler that you slot in there is going to be probably fine. I'm not sure exactly if Fenyx thought that it was the god that was the issue, because there's not like a lot of things that they were doing to counter it, unless, I mean, Nemesis is open.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
First pick for the side of Team Fenyx, given that you don't have the Habwa, which is kind of considered like a soft counter to Nemesis. Scylla being picked up first pick does have a slow. Scylla's really strong late game. You have to make it there, Fenyx, but Scylla gets really strong when she gets that free 20% penetration on her crush at max level. Of course, she has the best secure of any god in the game, being able to stack her ult and her crush. So we see on the flip side, couple hovers, Chang'e and Cthulhu both being locked in. It'll be interesting to see where these gods go. Chang'e mid, I think, is extremely strong. Have you seen a lot of it, Dino? What do you think about it?
Right now, I know in like ranked and things like that, Chang'e is very, very good in the mid lane. But I'm thinking the way that Narcos hovered it and then Maloney's locked it in, Narcos being the mid laner and Maloney's being the solo laner, it doesn't make sense for them to pick for each other. They could have just, like, Maloney's could have locked in Cthulhu and then Narcos could have locked in Chang'e. So it makes me think that might actually be a Chang'e solo and a Cthulhu support.
Interesting. Yeah, that might be the case. I was wondering where these might go. Cthulhu, I mean, I've run him a lot in ranked and support as well. We see a Fenrir and Hui picked in from the other side.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about these gods, especially into a Chang'e?
So I'm hoping that's not a Fenrir support. I guess it could be a Fenrir support. I don't like Fenrir jungle much better. I think Fenrir is better in support right now, but like, I don't know. I do like it into the team comp with the Hou-Yi and the Scylla. You can literally just grab somebody and drop them into two of those big ultis, and they're going to suffer some damage if their beads are non-existent. We see a Ganesh locked in, so maybe that is a Chang'e mid.
Yeah, I mean, this pretty much, obviously things can go into kind of unconventional roles, but it pretty much tells me that you'll have that Ganesh support, great into the Fenrir, can silence out the Brutalize, and then Cthulhu most likely in the solo lane, that's kind of where he thrives. Chang'e most likely in the mid, kind of where she thrives. And into a Scylla, Chang'e doesn't have to worry about her low early game clear, early game pressure, because she's facing a mage that's also going to have low early game clear and early game pressure. Actually, Chang'e probably will out-pressure Scylla just because of the rotations of her abilities, and of course can use her too to avoid the crush damage if that's something that she gets caught in.
Yeah, a really smart ban. I don't know if anybody noticed this. Coming out of VHS with the Ares, of course, we talked about Fenrir bringing back into the alts there of Scylla and Ho Yi. Well, what if you just had an Ares who could bring the whole team into it? So heads up play works out great also with the Odin ban. I think those are some smart bans out of the side of VHS. And likewise, we have a Cupid Rama ban, two of the top hunters right now. And I like those bans as well. See Naja hover. Naja's interesting. I don't know exactly where she fits. She seems to be struggling in the jungle currently.
Naja,
And in support, she's struggling. She's just got a weird place. I've seen some people pick her up for solo, but I don't really like her there either. So it's
I'm
gotta be jungle, right?
I'm just gonna make sure that we recognize that Naja is a boy.
Yep. Did I say she?
You did.
Oh my gosh, I do that every time, dude.
Jungle. Not like you said, not great follow up from the Naja ult. When you have a Naja, you really want to see something that has a big burst. If it was a Scylla on the other side, great. But on the other side, we do see Archeum and Overrun picked up. I do not know where these gods are going.
All-Run's going to be in solo lane. Hard Stepdad loves his All-Run solo. I imagine RTO is going to be the support. That leaves Fenrir as jungle. And obviously Ho Yi and Scylla. We could probably guess where they're going.
So, how does this All-Run deal with a Cthulhu in the lane?
I'm imagining he drops his ult and runs away every time Cthulhu ults. That's how...
And then how does he get away? Because he doesn't have any mobility. Cthulhu just ults his ult and runs in.
Cthulhu slow in ults, then you run away. I mean, I don't... Like, it's not a pick that I would personally pick up. I don't understand the all-run solo, but Hard Stepdad swears by it, and he's gonna get an opportunity to prove me wrong here. And show me how good it is.
For their potential set defining game, if they lose this, I don't know if it's, that was the play. The rest of the draft, I don't mind. I think RDO's support can be pretty good. Tough into Ganesh, tough into not having CC immunity for Naja, but it is it's viable and it's pretty good at getting early pressure. But on the other side, this solo lane, they like, how are they going to have any room for their jungler to work? Their Fenrir has is Artemis, or sorry, is RTO going to be getting blink and blinking into the backline to be able to make room for this Fenrir? Because you have another backliner who's a very vulnerable backliner, cannot be by himself in Oleron.
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, in team fights, that's got to be the situation, right? You know, late game, you're looking to have that RDO be the engage, and then have all-run be the support almost, being able to provide that ultimate and a little bit of healing, I guess. It's a weird team comp for me, for sure, but I mean, all-run, one of the best ults in the game. I could definitely see Fenyx benefiting from having that, especially with the Scylla and AoE.
Ult though?
I would rather have the Cthulhu ult, yes.
Yeah, I mean, and as a response, there are so many soul laners kind of open there. You know, if you wanted to get something with healing, Guan Yu is great. Yep. We saw how effective that's been. If you wanted something with just like more bully potential, you have things like Achilles that can execute the Cthulhu, do a lot of work. I think that big by the Jingwei, RDO getting some good poke onto the Jingwei. I mean, she's gonna go back and do her own thing. Again, Jingwei, not one of those guys that's really good at level 1. I would be very scared against who he is. We see this nice tiptoeing around from
Yeah, Jingwei not known for being a great level 1 character, right? You're looking for that late game sort of focus when you pick up a Jingwei. Looks like
as these two players, both sides do go the long way and end up getting creep. We can delay their level 2s a little bit.
Yeah, a little weird to see Jing rush to lane and not finish off that back camp and let Ganesh pick it off, but then also take the ghost minion. So it was a weird start, but she is level 2 right now, so.
Yeah, and I would honestly rather have Ganesh be level 2, because what is Jingwei going to do with her level 2? Not a god that normally you think has been clear earlier. You see him actually did a lot of damage in Bomb Shot 420, getting kills for first blood. And VHS getting first blood this time, as opposed to last game where Fenyx was able to get it. That mid 2v2 just get a ring bound, but not choosing to capitalize on that and go for the invade. Instead, they get their own red buff, and not just going for Oracle. But hopefully, Chang'e does express that Scylla does not have her her red buff on her, but she's gonna just go back, and now Fenrir's up to help her secure it. Chang'e's positioning as if she may want to invade it. She's kind of looking at it, but let's go back to the wave.
Yeah, weird play call. I think you're right. I think the invade was the call there. I think that they maybe just hesitated a little too long, and then they decided to get their own red buff. But then it's weird that Chang'e came in. Weird play for me.
Here, Artio taking tons of damage, ends up having to use the shell. Ender on the backside goes in, did not get the stun, didn't have the runes, and then silenced out, which is that interaction we talked about, which means you are not able to brutalize. And now not just no shell down, but not able to, not wanting to commit, knowing that his team is slow, he's just doing the counter rotation, and nothing really ventured.
I mean, absolutely huge peel by the Ganesh. Definitely saves his carry's life there. But that's kind of what you're expecting, right, with that Ganesh pick, so.
Yeah, I'm surprised that Fenrir is not going with runes. I mean, he went for his Unchained, didn't have full runes, didn't get the stun. I mean, he had a good position on it, but I mean, he was hovering by that Alpha Harpy, which I think was still up. He could have probably just stacked it a couple times there. But now it's Scylla's already off to not a great start. Chang'e, like we said, does get pressure over the Scylla early game, but it's to be seen whether they can do anything on the side of VHS with that mid pressure that they are going to have.
Yeah, you're definitely going to push that as much as you can, especially because the counter side is that your Jingwei and Ganesh should be getting out pressured, but that is not the case. Thanks probably mostly to a beautiful Ganesh ult.
Yeah, looks like they looked, I'm not sure if they were able to invade the Alpha Harpy. I would really like, this Naja is focusing a lot on this dueling, and I really want to see him look at that Ola run, who is 1 beads and that's it. Is otherwise extremely vulnerable. Naja, not yet level 5, hopefully should be hitting it pretty soon. His mid laner not available to help him here in mid, so he's going to back up. As Fender is just going to help clear this wave with the Scylla. They're going to get their own red buff, but noted that these timers are very off now. That means that there is a potential for a invade if the teams recognize that.
Yeah, I think that that's a really important, something important to note too, is that really, when you're playing an auto-run solo lane, you have to punish that. Like, Naja should be just living over here for the next 10 minutes.
Here, now we see the blink forward, and now there's the beats, and they all coming from Olaron. Naja does get the ult onto Olaron. Kazuma goes with his ult a little bit early. Not sure if they're going to be able to finish this off. Are they going to dive? He's 1 hit, but does the healing off. I think that Cthulhu had waited for the Olaron to come back down. There's no reason to use your ultimate that early. You give up a huge amount of damage. Now, fight in the dual lane, Fenrir does grab the Ganesh. Artio trying to chase, but not enough follow-up damage as the Hu Yi ult able to go him out. But now Hu Yi Jingwei in a bad spot. Sorry. Both of them, everyone able to get out safely though, with barely anything left in the tank. I'm surprised that Fenyx does not choose to chase that, given that they knew that Naja was over on the right side. But again, just playing scared.
I think just low mana bars really affected their ability to chase that down. But I think that was really good play recognition there by Zombie Shot to recognize that, hey, Naja's in the solo lane. Let's gank this duo lane over here and try to make something happen. Unfortunately, it didn't work out perfectly for either one of those ganks. But I think that's a good bit of play recognition.
Ganesh, Cat 4200, trying to rush Gauntlet of Thieves instead of Boots. He hasn't been punished for it. Fenrir tried, but his just team not able to follow up on his ult. Probably a draft kill there, but Ganesh, no boots. And yes, he's going to get his Thief stack online faster. But if I'm Fenrir, I want to hop back on this Ganesh as every rotation, as soon as my ult is back up. And it's going to be there. It's going to be coming up soon. And on the flip side, if I'm Naja, I want to be playing on this solo run. Is now Oracle's being taken down by the side of VHS. That means that if Naja does go to the Ola run, that it's a easy vision. Fenrir trying to put some pressure onto that side, but you're not going to be able to gank Cthulhu at this point. If he has his ultimate up, which he does, you know, he can even turn that a 1v2. But good call on the Oracles. That means that if I'm Naja, he's already invading the back camps, and the enemy looking towards the blue buff, maybe, chooses to just get the backs and back up. Cthulhu, however, not getting the memo, does decide to blink it. Naja going mid, gets the ult onto Scylla, beat by Scylla, able to stop the Changa ult stun, but now Cthulhu diving in, getting the 1v2 kill into the Ola run. Guess he didn't need any help. He was able to just do it on his own, and that's what we were talking about earlier. How do you deal with the Ola run, with a Cthulhu when he has ult as an Ola run?
Yeah, I'm thinking Telkines and maybe
with no help, and Jingwei been able to keep. It's a 1-for-1 trade out. It's just bloodbath. Jungler taking out Jungler, Stuff Extreme taking out the Fenrir, Scylla forced into her ultimate, not able to get anything with that.
A lot of action there. I wanted to point out earlier, like, how well that teamwork was between Naja and Changa, because the Naja just dashes in, gets the ult as soon as Scylla lands, right? You see Changa's ult come out and just, a great job using the beads to avoid that. But I mean, that's had Scylla not used the beads, she would have been toast.
Yeah, good timing on that. But the problem is, again, you have a Changa instead of something like a Poseidon or a Scylla or a Rod, something that can dish out a bunch of damage. Yeah. Changa ult does damage, but it's really more for the utility, for the stun.
Yeah, it's really a team fight ultimate, right? Because the amount of the stun duration increases with every god that you hit in that line. So it's a bit unfortunate. Only one target, and they had beads.
As now, you do see the beads forced out by the Jingwei. Good rotation by the Fenrir. Able to get those beads. Again, Jingwei, it is a dash, so Fenrir can follow you in the Brutalize. But now, Naja, as last game, Stuff Extreme just feeling himself, able to just go in, but Scylla's over the wall, not sure if she has any abilities, not able to save her Artia, and now she's taking a lot of damage, forced into the ultimate herself, but Naja's taking a ton of damage. Scylla doesn't recognize it, does not turn around, just runs straight, and not able to punish the Naja, despite what happened. Now, being forced into his ult, knowing that Jingwei does not have beads, he's feeling good to play up, even though he has a little bit of a half-level deficit. And that's kind of expected. Jingwei, such a good farmer, she will always come back and be able to get that farm. Really hard to poke her out because of the passive, as she just goes back and get oracles. As now another dive onto this Olaron. I think Cthulhu does pay for it, but not going to give up the kill to the Olaron. Again, Olaron has no defensive items. And is facing a Cthulhu in lane. I mean, if I was facing an Olaron on the other side of the map, I would love to have a Cthulhu on my team. And now you don't even have to worry about it because you were just facing him in lane.
Yeah, I think this Hecate is the wrong item to be purchasing if you're Olaron. I think you need to get some early pen up and just get ready for the fight against the Cthulhu. I mean, the sustain's going to be good. It's going to be helpful and all, but I don't know. Maybe even
How are
like
you going to sustain when you're getting knocked up every 3 seconds?
that's the issue, isn't it? But I guess we'll see how this all-around evolves. It's
As we do see Fenrir getting a blue buff invade onto the Cthulhu, recognizing that despite the kill, he did have to go back because he died to the tower. So Fenrir just capitalizing on that. But mid, under a lot of duress, they've lost a tier 1 tower, and this really has opened up the map for VHS, who have already a 2.5k level lead, or sorry, gold lead at 10 minutes, which is pretty much par for the course for how they were doing in game 1.
Yeah, and they're right on track. And it looks like they got a red buff invade.
There's Ardio here trying to defend. Scylla, it looks like she has not yet fully leveled up that crush. She does get a huge ult on the Chang'e. Chang'e not choosing to do that. Maybe she used it earlier, not sure why. But now Fenrir picks up this Ganesh, who does not have beams, does not have any CC immunity, and may die, but now Naja in with a bunch of low targets. Also Jingwei in, Naja going up in the air, able to finish off Valiant, as now Ardio is running for her life. Jingwei dashing in aggressively. Ardio better keep running. Naja blinks in, does hit the sash, able to finish off that kill on Ares. Great play from Stuff Extreme, really being able to use those abilities. And now we see on the solo side, again, what do you do? I mean, Oleron is dancing around, he's in his ult. This time he's able to survive, but okay, all for all, I'm fine with having the Oleron ult down, and now it looks like Cthulhu got knocked up, was not able to finish channeling that Mire. Would have probably knocked Oleron up, or locked him in place, but now on the other side, VHS are able to sneak up the gold period.
Yeah, maybe I was wrong. Maybe Hecate was the play. It's Hardstep that does survive that encounter, no doubt, thanks to that healing and a little bit of the damage reduction that Hecate provides. But unfortunately, VHS able to grab that gold fury, and that's just going to cement their lead even further.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel good as an Oleron into that. Like, if I used my big ultimate, which was a team fight ultimate, and my only defensive tool, really, other than the E's, which I'm not going to be using on the Cthulhu, because he literally has CC every few seconds.
Yeah.
Fenrir looking again for that blue buff, but this time Cthulhu able to secure it on his own. As now Naja kind of on his own looked to do a little bit of damage on his ult. Missed the ult. Naja misses his ult as well. He is caught out in a bad position. Still trying to zone him with the crouch, and Naja just slippery, very low mobility. Just Fenyx not able to finish it off. Now it looks like Fenrir is trying to go for that, getting baited into the entire team while VHS is there to support the Naja and trying to turn this around. Jingwei does underneath the tower, does get the finishing blow onto the Fenrir. Ganesh taking the tower as they are able to pick up the RDO as well. So huge praise by VHS. Fenyx just in shambles. Just
what a freaking sash from the Naja. Like, I don't think I've seen a sash landed from a longer distance and then just gets out from it. I mean, unbelievable play there.
Yeah, great play. Both these games by Stuff Extreme. He has been just doing the things. He's 4-0-4 this game. Last game on the Hebo, he had similar slash line. Just really showing how to play a jungler, a carry out of the jungle.
I think I'm gonna start using that. He's doing the things.
He is doing the things for sure.
I love that, dude. I love it.
And now this solo laner being pushed back to his T2. We do see Ardio coming over to try to rotate in. Fenrir also coming in. Cthulhu does all. Scylla is the biggest threat here, and she's not going to be. That's her crash and her combo used. Cthulhu needs to just run away, and he will be able to do that fine. But he keeps baiting as Naja comes in with the sash and the ult, and he's able to finish up hard stepdad. And now Scylla off the mark. Fenrir gonna get deleted while in his ult. Scylla able to shut down Stuff Extreme. This is like deja vu of game 1.
The arena, but kind of the conquest map, yeah.
Yeah, and now, I mean, VHS with a 6K lead, 7K lead, massive XP lead, 3 levels in the jungle, 2 levels in the solo lane, 2 levels in the mid lane, 2 levels in the ADC, 2 levels in the support. I mean, you love it. You just want to see. I want to see VHS this time not let the gas off. Go for the fire. You had a huge team fight. Go for the objective.
I know fire might be a little early, but Pyromancer was free, and I think they should at least have walked away with Pyromancer from that.
Yeah, with a 7K lead at this point and Scylla ult down, I think fire was probably free as well. But now it just has really been trying to go for these kills instead of like playing Conquest. Yeah. They're practicing for the eventual return of ranked arena. But they'll be good contenders for it. Jingwei is forced to ult out as she has taken a lot of poke damage. But now Ardio kind of in a bad spot by himself. Zomshot getting picked off by the Jingwei. And they're just keeping on chasing these kills. They've been doing that one thing. They've been doing it well. But you gotta do a little bit more than that. But unfortunately, Fenyx just not able to take advantage of VHS's lack of objective calls. They're kind of just dying one by one, and then just going back to the lane and dying one by one and rinse and repeat.
Yeah, I think that VHS needs to be doing a better job of looking for, as F-Dot would say, the stuff after this stuff. You know, after you get a kill, get, you know, Oni Fury, you know, Fire Giant, Towers, take their backhands, do something extra to push your lead so that you can finish the game up a little quicker. It looks like they might be looking for Oni Fury right now, and that seems to be the call, and I think that is a good play, but, you know, it's still, you know, Fenyx has 5 people on their team, and...
Yeah, at this point, if you're VHS, you want to force every fight you can. You have such an amazing lead. Jingwei going into the Wind Demon 3rd item, before Yu has even finished stacking Devourer's Gauntlets. However, good call from the side of Fenyx, getting the Pyromancer, recognizing that, you know, while Fenyx had such a lead, they probably could have done both objectives at the same time. They all group on the gold on the left side of the map. That leaves a little bit of a window that Fenyx does take advantage of, takes the Pyromancer. But now they're all backing, and if I'm VHS, I would just force a fight at fire.
Yeah, they can certainly force a fight right here. Looks like that's the case.
As the Fenyx gets demolished by that Ganesh ult damage. Again, this is not what you want your solo laner. Do you want your solo laner running away from the ADC? Nope. But if you're an Ola run, that's what you gotta do. And he ends up falling. This makes a 5 versus 3. The potential is there for a hero steal from the Scylla. She's in mid lane, however, clearing out Onis. Hui's in left lane, clearing out Onis. But VHS, again, not going for the map objective. Getting the kills, backing, and then going back to lane, just trying to get more kills. I mean, kills are great, but, I mean, you gotta end the game by taking objectives. Maybe he is gonna stick around and gonna get a good level 1, their Q1 tower, as it seems like his team did call that the team of VHS is going to the Fire Giant. They are gonna most likely give this one up for free because Scylla is on the left side, not even in any position to potentially steal or contest. Cthulhu here zoning, but doesn't really need to because this is a free Fire Giant for the side of VHS, and now they're looking to see. That was that thunder jump. He just unchained onto the entire team by himself, and he gets punished for it. He gets killed. I don't know what Zom wanted to pad their kill stats. You know, he's like, I don't like being 1 and 7. Let's make it an even number, 1 and 8. Now VHS run down the Fenyx.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. You know, I think Fenyx played that about as well as they could until that Fenrir line in, and I'm not sure what he was thinking. I don't know if he thought that the target was going to be alone, but I mean, it's kind of obvious that there's going to be 4 other people, so I don't know what the thought behind that was.
Now this is where Ult can really shine. Cthulhu doesn't care about your Ult, and Hui Yi damage, while good, is enough to pick out a couple of players from the side of VHS. Kind of, and now with the Jing Wei down, this is their entire fight neutralized. Again, VHS diving past the Fenyx, the Jing Wei not doing what an ADC is supposed to do and hitting the Fenyx. This means that now you have another successful defense by Fenyx, which is just a very poor siege by the side of VHS. Like, yes, they're going for kills, but even if you trade out your life, you're the team with the Fire Giant. Like, this is... VHS is really doing a good job at prepping for the eventual return of Ranked Arena. But if you remember Ranked Arena, not very many people may, but Ranked Arena was also a snooze fest at the higher levels because you don't want to go for kills.
Yeah, it turns out farming just a superior method. And yeah, I think you're right. I think that play sort of rendered getting Fire Giant pointless. I mean, they did get that right hand side Fenyx
they lost
down.
fire on everybody.
Yeah.
Yes, they get one Fenyx, the easiest Fenyx to defend in the game. That being said, just like in Game 1, they do have about 3 screw-ups in the tank that they can use. They've been, like, it's like how, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? How many lifelines do you want to use? VHS likes to use up their lifelines. They have been consistently throwing these sieges, and if I'm their coach, I would be pointing out, amongst other things, how to siege a Fenyx would be one of those things they really VHS should focus on improving on. However, like we talked about, they have these lifelines in the bank just via the early lead that they've gotten and the massive lead that they have. Hui taking a fight on the Jing Wei, not winning this fight, getting soloed pretty much by the Jing Wei, who is same level but has a significant gold advantage. Again, I'm not sure why Hui's taking that 1v1 there. And there's no benefit for you getting that 1v1.
I think maybe it's a little bit of that solo queue mindset that sometimes you get stuck in, where you're like, you know what? You know, in a ranked game, I could probably pull this off, right? But this is competitive Smite, and like you can't get away with that kind of stuff. It doesn't work because, unlike in ranked where there's one person there that you're fighting, guess what? There's actually 4 more around the jungle waiting for you to take that fight, and you're just gonna get punished for it.
And it's not like Starter 1995 needed it.
Yeah.
So, Philips and Magnavox are winning currently in the format war. With the Sony sponsored Fenyx. That'd be cool if we had sponsorships of Sony, right? But
maybe I could finally get a PS5.
Yes, that would be sick, dude. But still, I would rather play Smite on a PC than a PS5.
VHS grabbing a Fury, that's gonna be a little helpful. It's not what I would be focusing on, but you don't have the Fire Giant buff, so at this point you're just waiting for the Fire Giant to come back up anyways. Might as well take what you can.
Yeah, I mean, now this is a good pick, good beads on Hui, but I would chase these guys down. Hui using both relics, he is going to get out, but knowing that now their carry has no relics, VHS just choosing to push this wave, they do recognize that this Fenyx is weakened, and they are going to probably take it for free, it looks like, as there's only Olaron here to defend, and he's not really going to be able to do much. That's going to be ult and throw the Jingway.
Yeah, Ganesh, not with his team.
Yeah, Ganesh in mid lane, not the character that you want to be doing the foot push. But it is true that Fenyx is able to hold this Fenyx. However, they do give up one on either side. The much more valuable player in the ADC being killed on the side of VHS means that now you still have your Scylla. She doesn't have ult, but she still has Crush. Now it looks like VHS is kind of set up a little bit of a bait, but both teams just backing up. They recognize that this is going to be a 4v4 at Fire, and looks like VHS is not confident enough to take that. I don't know why Fenyx is trying to stop these back. If you see them backing, this would have been an easy Fire Giant call for you. You had your ADC, and you have an Olaron there, so I mean, let them back and just start the fire on your own. But Fenyx, again, just losing sight of what the game objectives are, trying to just be annoying for no reason, despite being down 10k and having a golden opportunity that they just gave up.
In Fenyx's defense, VHS should not have been backing there, right? And maybe they thought it was a bait or something, and they wanted to get the early jump on it. I don't know. I personally would have just let them back. You know?
Yeah, and then they did back after that, and they ran away from fire.
Yeah.
I mean, you have double ADC. If you're going to build an Ola run in solo lane, and you have a double ADC comp, then you better be willing to, like, why even run that Ola run there if you're not going to pull an objective and burn it like nothing else?
Yeah, I agree. I think you know, hey, they should have let him back. They didn't, and now VHS is all over that FG. They didn't even get vision on it. I don't think that Fenyx knows they're there. Well, now they do.
Yeah, now VHS here for the Fire Giant. Cthulhu trying to zone. He does get his bubble pop. The big threat is Scylla with the ultimate, but VHS, Scylla not even anywhere nearby. Ola getting caught out by the Naja. Ares is gonna get taken down on the RDF, and Ola by himself on the 1v1 against the Cthulhu. This is not gonna end well. So Ola gonna die, and now this is a 5 versus 3 push onto a weakened Fenyx.
Mm-hmm.
You have a lot of time to work with. 30 seconds until this RDO comes up.
Shinway's way out of position. Yeah,
she is, but she's not going to be able to get contact with it.
I guess
and now it's going to be a 5 versus 2 as Fenyx off in no man's land, and never on the same page with his team. Scylla forced into her ult defensively. This Fenyx is free. And now the question is, does VHS go for the end here? Last time
with Ares coming up, but
so now Cthulhu in his ultimate getting a ton of damage onto Scylla. Scylla has used her relics, and so Maloney is able to pick up the kill on the Satin Hell. But instead of the end call, they're going again for that mid Fenyx. This time, I think that's a better call than it was in game 1, where they literally had a deicide.
Yeah.
So, but now, maybe flirting with the end call, Cthulhu's in the Titan pit, still with Changa, the rest of his team not on the same page. Both Cthulhu and Changa being taken down very low. Poor communication on the side of VHS. Again, not following the same calls. I think the call to end was a fine call, but just, you gotta follow it. You need your Jingwei to be there. You need your Naza to be there. As now, you don't even get this left side Fenyx. I mean,
like I always say, fully committing to a bad call is better than half committing to a good one.
Yeah, and there have been some questionable calls throughout the games here.
But SDL, it's gonna happen, baby.
So far, Betamax is holding out.
Mm-hmm.
They are trying, clinging to some potential hope of relevance, as the VHS team looking to click fast forward and try to go for now a Primal Fury. Again, you have 2 minutes left on the Fire Giant.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool that you have a Primal Fury, I guess, but
yeah.
Now, wouldn't you rather see them?
Yep. Yeah, I think sieging's a little bit more important, but I think I've even seen pro teams do things like that where they'll go and get, and it's just it baffles me because you have a certain amount of time with that fire drive. You gotta take advantage of it, man. Okay, so
they do walk down mid, see the entirety of Team Fenyx there, decide to go to the left Fenyx, and the great zoning by Ganesh, able to get so much work done. Now all 3 Fenyx is down, Overrun ult is down, but not really in a spot where it's going to be able to do anything. Satin Hell is down. Looks like history will repeat itself, and VHS, the classic video cassette tape, is going to be your winner of this set.
As a man who grew up on VHS tapes, it just warms my heart.
Yeah, So you know what? It's the kids who are born now, like the whatever generation that there is right now,
Gen Z. Yeah.
Gen Z, sure.
Yeah.
Do you know that like from when say Lion King or Little Mermaid, that kind of stuff was coming out on VHS to like now when they're like growing up, it was the same kind of duration of time from when like the literal like oldie movies were coming out to when like we were kids and watching those on VHS.
I love feeling really old. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Yeah. It's phenomenal. 2, 11, and 4 on the Fenrir.
Yeah,
7, 2, and 13 on the Naja.
I like the idea, of Fenrir, right? I think they just were not able at any point to execute the sort of game plan. I don't think I once saw Fenrir bring somebody back into a Scylla alt, bring somebody back into a Hoagie alt. And I think that just because they were behind, they were so scattered, and it made things really, really difficult for that connection to pay off. And I think in the end, Fenrir was probably not the play. But I mean, Naja was just running the jungle.
Great play by Step Extreme. He has been, I would say, the MVP of both these games. Maloney is also doing very well, much better on the Cthulhu than he did on the Vimana in game 1. But again, he got his ideal matchup. Like, and Olaran he was picked into the Cthulhu. Fenrir was picked into the Changa, into the Jingwei.
Yep.
Into the Cthulhu. So, yeah, Fenyx needs to work on some of their identity, figuring out what they want to do in the game, figuring out their picks and bans, because it hasn't worked out for them, and that's why video cassette tape VCRs are the way to go.
Video killed the radio star.
Yes.
We are waiting for our interview. I think we'll go ahead, take a quick break, and then come back with that interview when it's all set up for y'all. So stick around.
Hello. Welcome back. We have with us Starter 1995, bringing back the 1995 VHS and bringing them to a 2-0 victory. How are you feeling, Starter?
Feeling very well. The games went really well and made a few mistakes, but you know what, we pulled it back.
Yeah, the sieging kind of rough for both games, getting wiped both times at the siege. Now, was there an intentional call to try to just go for kills instead of objectives this game? As there was a lot of opportunities that I saw both you and your team just kind of chasing down kills where there were kind of other things to take. Was that something that you just wanted to flex on the other team, or what was the talk about that?
I wouldn't say like flex. It was more very much miscommunication. We saw something, we chased it, and then we just weren't really paying attention to anything else. But then we regained ourselves and we're like, hey, we killed their ADC, we killed their mage, let's go take a few objectives and stop them getting it. But yeah,
No.
we did chase a little bit, and sieging under Phoenixes were a bit rough. We weren't very sure on our damage if we could do it or not, so we were hesitant.
Yeah, a lot of times I saw you kind of in the front line as the ADC, getting kind of picked off a few times. What were you trying to do? Were you just trying to lead your team there and drag them to follow you, or what was going on?
I have two methods when I'm frontline ADC. It's I'm trying to bait out abilities, or I'm just in the wrong place.
Okay, fair enough.
Mostly, I'm just out of position. Sometimes, like there was that time where Ho Yi went aggressive on me and Scylla, and I managed to beat and avoid most of that damage, and then that's when we went back in as a team.
Now,
because we knew some of their abilities were down.
Coming into picks and bans, game one, some strong god picks on the enemy side. Had you guys done your research and just were not really afraid of the Persephone and the Tsukiyomi, or was that concerning when you saw those go through?
It was slightly concerning seeing them go through. I don't really particularly like Tsukiyomi. I think we played well into it, but no, we really didn't do much research into them because we didn't want to ban them out too much. We wanted to see what they were able to because I think this is our first time playing them. So it was more, we were just trying to see what they can do, ban a couple of comfort picks, but as well as let our own comfort picks go through.
Yeah, and I mean, both these games, Stuff Extreme popping off with Habwa and Naja. When was he? Was he kind of driving the pace of the game, do you feel like, for the most part? Or were you guys initially just waiting for Fenyx to make a mistake and then kind of capitalize on it?
I think mostly it was Extreme just went around farming, and whenever he saw an opportunity, he went for it. He let us know, and we followed up on it. Or we would call for a gank or whatever, and he would be right over. He's a top-tier jungler, and I can't ask for a better one.
Yeah, excellent into that. Game two, pretty much along the same lines as game one, with a much better kind of comp diff on your guys' end, especially in that soul lane. Was there any talk about how to play off of this all-run solo in the side lane? And given that you were on a more safe pick with Jingwei, one that isn't going to be as aggressive early in terms of lane pressure as the Izanami was in game one?
Yeah, I just thought Jingwei would be a little bit safer, but for the solo lane of the Oloran, it was basically just all down to Maloney's doing Maloney stuff. He's just in their face being annoying, and he does that best. But yeah, it was more. I was a little bit scared of the Oloran because I knew he could really halt my escape opportunities because Jingwei's pretty safe. But I'm lucky enough that I wasn't caught in too many results.
Dinah, what questions do you have?
I think you basically covered everything. I do want to say that it's been a pleasure watching VHS kind of come into the league. If you thought they were going to read a team last season or this season, you should have seen them last season. You guys are really starting to pick up on those objectives, and sometimes it's just a long process, but you guys have been doing really well this year, and wish you all the luck going forward.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you for joining us, Starter 1995. As stick around, we have an excellent set coming up in about 15 minutes as we will be back with the Reap Smite League SDL week.